saying 16% overdrive in the front of that truck. 16 to 17%. I think I'm going to have to put like a piece of rubber hose on this handle and cross them tie downs into an X, because I am having a little bit of problems with it walking. But the reason I built this thing is because I got a couple trucks. Like when you build a truck, you know, you just get a kit, something like this. It's just got the chassis rails, the links, the drive shafts, and all this stuff in it. And you really, a lot of times, you really play with the angles on your drive shafts, because you don't want too much of an angle, but you don't want it too flat either. So this will be able to tell me, you know, by changing the angle of the drive shaft, how would it change the RPMs going to that axle. See, it actually went up a whole lot when I straightened that truck out. When I straightened the drive shaft out. So I just wanted to, you know, use it to check it. I could check temperatures, check gearing, pinion. Actually, on this truck here, I didn't even notice it until I put it up here. The battery strap is actually touching. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's touching the front drive shaft, so I'm gonna have to do something about that. This is a kind of an older truck. I haven't done a lot with it, but that's the reason behind this here. It's not a dyno. It's just made to, you know, on rainy days, if you want to get out and tune some cars, you know, get it out and tune some cars, you can do that. Here's another thing I noticed. I don't even have the truck tied down. At first I thought the axle was bent, but look at that left rear tire. I need to unbead that tire and rebead it, because it's not even close. Look how the other ones are doing pretty good. This truck here, it's got artificial foams in it, 3D printed foams, and that's why you can just hear it just gripping. I'm not sure what the overdrive in this one is. It should be pretty close to what the other one is. Let me see if I can get it up to 100. You can see it's surging a little bit, because it's got a so we're probably pretty close. It's got what, about 8% maybe, 8-9%. Okay, now we got this other truck on here. This is RES Concepts. I believe it has, yeah, just regular foams in it. The tires is dirty, as you can tell. We do have Traxxas overdrive in the front and Traxxas underdrive in the back. So it should be a little bit more aggressive with the overdrive. And we did have to strap this one down because it took off on us. Yeah, it's got about 31% overdrive, probably, or maybe a little bit less. Throttle trim ain't even going to get it there. It's got so much overdrive and underdrive in it. Yeah, it's got about around 30% overdrive. You know, with the underdrive counted in. Look right here. See that? I should have noticed that before now. See it rubbing? That steering connecting rod there. The rod end is rubbing the chassis. Okay, here's an old Capra that we've got strapped down to it. Let's see what the overdrive is. It's got pretty extreme overdrive in it. Yeah, you're looking at, this is Team Garage Hack Wild, back years ago. Looking at a lot of overdrive. Okay, this is the Phoenix. Vanquish Products Phoenix. And it must be just in regular right now. No, I think it's got like 8 and it goes to 30. Let's see what that did. Ooh, it's jumping. I'm due to change this body out real soon. It's cracking. Got a lot of problems with it. With the body cracking. It's my fault though, the way I've treated it. I think that's the, yeah, that's the overdrive. You see it's got about a pretty good bit of overdrive. 30% would equal 68, 67 RPMs. We just switch it back to, that should be 8%, which that's pretty close. Yeah, that's pretty close. I think this thing has a 2-speed, but I was driving it the other day and forgot about it. No, it don't. It's big. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna stop running them. There's one thing to think about though. If you're gonna run a truck for a long time, you probably want to set aside a set of tires, because I've really run these tires right here a whole lot. And you see how they kind of glazed over. They'll probably be all right, but I'll probably have to run it on some sand rock a whole lot before these tires come back to life. And I knew that when I was putting them on there, running that truck. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and this is just kind of tell you what this can be used for. In my last video at the end of it, I showed this and I had a lot of people asking questions about it. Was it going to be a dyno? Eventually it might be, and to start with I was going to make it a dyno. The software I was going to use hadn't been updated in like 10 years, and you'd have to have an old laptop to run it. So that's a problem, because I'd have to take one of my old laptops and get the battery replaced in it, which would be hard to find, to take this out in the field and use it. So I think this server's pretty good right now. It's basically pretty simple to build. Excuse me. If you want to build one of these, basically all this is right here, this is what it's called the bicycle rollers. I'll put a picture right up here where you can see it. And it's just a set of rollers that somebody put a bicycle on and ride in their house. And I've cut it and put it on here. And this is actually linear rails for CNC. You can find these on Amazon in different lengths. I think this is like a 400 millimeter length, which is just barely long enough for this size truck. And let's see, these are called Hall sensors. Just look up RPM gauge with Hall sensors if you want to look up, if you want to, go this route. That's what that is. That's RPM gauge with Hall sensors, basically proximity sensors. And I've got magnets. They're not only taped in here. I use this double-sided tape first. I put the magnet on top of the tape, traced it out, and then cut it with a hobby knife. Sunk it down in this foam. This is 3M double-sided tape. And then after I got it in there, I put a piece of black tape over it. It's worked good, and I've run this thing a pretty good bit now. And that's the way you can get your RPMs. And this is run on 2 9-volt batteries at the moment. at the moment. One on each side, and I bought these off Amazon too. It's just what did I say? 9? Did I say 9 volt? I hope I said 9. I think I said something else. But they're 9 volt, 2 9-volt batteries, one for each gauge. And this is just a junction box, a waterproof junction box I got off there. And I picked this stuff up, and it's actually bolted to this table. This is probably the weakest point of the whole thing is this table. I'm probably going to look at, I already got parts for my next one. I'm probably going to look at using some kind of like Black & Decker workbench, because what I want to do is, let me move this truck out of your way so you can kind of tell what I'm talking about. What I want to do is they make these kits where you can get these 2 rails. Let me put that down. Where you can get these 2 linear rails and the bearing carriers and everything, but you also get a middle one. It's got a corkscrew running through it with one of these bearing carriers on it, so you could actually take and put your piece of metal somewhere, like if this table had say a gap in it, like most of them workbenches does, you know, they have 2 boards on each side. You could put it lower and have you a piece of metal going in between here, and you could screw this wheel either way, the little wheel on the end of it, to make this either go forward or go backwards. That way you could use it with different wheelbases. And they also make them motorized, but it'd be a whole lot better. Basically what you do is just turn that wheel till you get it where you want it and lock it down with a chuck on top of it. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing with the next one. The next one has got I'll go ahead and show you a picture of it. As you can see, it really don't need the linear rails because it's already on rails to start with. But for adjustability purposes, I will probably go ahead and put it on some rails. But it's got like a polyurethane roller, so it'll be a whole lot different than these right here. But that's pretty much it. There's not that much to it. It's pretty simple. I did have to buy these lock-ins. I forgot about that, because these bearing carriers do have locks in them, but they didn't work too good, so I had to buy these collars. But I'll put a link to all this stuff down below if you want to. But just go on like Facebook Marketplace and look up bicycle rollers, and you'll probably be able to pick up a set for $50 or $60 probably, you know, used. And these things last forever, man. I used to ride these things years ago. And most of these rollers are just free. One of them's got a little bit, that front one's got a little bit of resistance, but most of them is just free rolling. But that's pretty much it. Just remember, till next time, I love you, but God loves you more.